Welcome one, welcome all back again. Reddit takes here with a tier making video today where we'll be ranking all the divisional winners and how each division shakes up for the upcoming NFL season. I am prepared to be totally skewered for some of the things I'm about to say, but I don't take them lightly. I mean, as we all know, these predictions could be bunk in a couple months, so let's just get to it. Let's start off with the AFC East. Of all teams, going to be a really interesting division this year. Of course, with the addition of Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, the Bills seemingly having problems, which, let's be honest, I think this Stephon Diggs was all media hype, just trying to wedge division. I think he's actually fine. He'll play fine this year, but let's start off with the Bills as number one this year. Yeah, I mean, sure, they've had issues, and sadly, Naheem Hines went down with the most unfortunate injury, but I think they'll still be good. Their defense should be better than they were last year. Von Miller will be back, which is good. Hopefully, they can stand up to the offensive onslaught they'll face all year across their whole schedule. And then, second of all, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins, so we're all been saying it's all dependent on the health of Tua Tagovailoa, and yes, it definitely is. But their team is so good. Their defense is great. They have two outstanding corners, good linebacking core, and their offense should be good as well. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, a good running. Well, who knows what we're gonna get at running back, but Tua is a difference maker when he's on the field. Hopefully, the medical staff will take him out if he suffers another concussion. And also, let's just hope he doesn't suffer another concussion because he's a great player. You don't want to see his career come to an end because of a terrible injury like that, especially as a result of somebody's carelessness. But nonetheless, I think they'll finish second with a good chance to finish in first, depending on how things shake out with Tua. And next, we have the Jets. Now, the Jets, yes, they have a great team on paper. That offense, when Breece Hall is on the field, Breece Hall should come back just as good as ever. Garrett Wilson, of course. Aaron Rodgers there, a decent offensive line. Then that defense is just no joke. Great corners, great linebacking core, great rushing. They have everything on the defense. It all depends on how it all fits together because, as I saw in an article the other day, when Rodgers came to the Jets, he brought his playbook. It's a handpicked offensive coordinator. It's the Jets had to meld with his system, which, if you watch the Packers for any amount for the last 15 years or so, is good, but can break down easily, especially when Rodgers gets his prima donna moment and or doesn't throw to wide receivers who drop balls after a while. So there's a honeymoon period right now, but I think by middle of the season we'll see how the Jets really are, and it may or may not be so well because that media, the New York media, will tear him apart eventually, and it's going to be unrelenting. If he thought he had a bad in Green Bay with the media, he has seen nothing yet. They're good right now, but how long will they stay, depending on the record? But I think the Jets have a good team. It's just we'll just have to see how Rodgers returns this year. He was injured all last year. We'll see if he can regain his MVP form, and if he does, they have a great chance to win the division and go much further. And last but not least, we have the Patriots, who are a good team on paper, great defense. It just all comes down to Mac Jones and maybe Bailey Zappi if he ends up being the starting quarterback at some point this year. If Mac Jones wins the job in training camp, which I'm guessing he probably will, they should be fine, but he's going to have to try and find some way to regain his form from his rookie year. Ramondre Stevenson will be back. He'll be just fine there. We'll see what they can do in receiving. The Patriots are going to have a great defense. I mean, it was pretty good last year. Last year, the Patriots were not losing because of the Patriots defense, but because of their flaggingly bad offense. And with Christian Gonzalez at corner, they should be even better. But I don't know. This whole division should be a good one. I think every team has a legit chance to win the division. It just depends on how everything shakes out. But putting the Bills on top, they're still the kings of the division. But we shall see how it hands up because once the injuries roll in, they're rolling fast for the Bills because they have no luck and this franchise is just cursed. I truly believe that. And next we have the AFC North. And let's start off with the Bengals, a Super Bowl contender for sure. That defense should be great. That offense should be really good. Hopefully Mixon can bounce back from a seemingly bad year last year. That receiving core, no joke. Joe Burrow, when he gets paid, he's gonna make Justin Herbert's extension from yesterday look like a joke. It's probably gonna be close to $300 million a year, probably more. Probably a lot more. It's Joe Burrow, and the Bengals are gonna need to keep him happy. And although Joe Burrow said he might take a little bit of a discount, so maybe it won't be as high as we all think it will be, but it's gonna break records for sure. But yeah, the defense should be fine. Hopefully they don't make any dumb mistakes like they did last year to end the season. That was truly awful, and it's just one of those things that the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt on, and nobody else does. But Bengals, number one, yes. Next we have the Ravens. Where are the Ravens? And the Ravens should be good. Lamar Jackson with his new contract. I hope J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy for the year. He's so talented. Hopefully he can regain his form from his rookie season because he is great. But like we've seen with running back contracts and stuff, who knows how long we'll see him in Baltimore, and especially if he has another injured year. Gus Edwards should be back as second string. I still think J.K. Dobbins has a job. Regardless, he did go in the PUP. Hopefully he'll be back before the season because the Ravens need him. Again, the defense has its great moments, and with the Baltimore Ravens defense, you can always expect it to be good, but we shall see how it continues to go. It all depends on Lamar Jackson, if he can stay healthy, that's going to be good. Supposedly he's going to throw a lot more this year, which I still don't think he has the best arm in the league, but with his ability to make plays, he'll be just fine. Probably could be a chance to break records, but we shall see. It should be a fierce battle for number one, but like I said, I think this division is up for grabs for everybody, to be honest. And next we have the Steelers. That defense, again, would be great. There should be great. It'll always be better. That offensive line should be improved. I mean, that offensive line last year was terrible. And Kenny Pickett, for all he did last year, he could have done so much better if they had a reasonable line. And now they supposedly do. We'll see how the injury bug handles them because, like at any team in the NFL, the injury bug always seems to hit when you're least expected. And of course, Najee Harris should be good. I still don't think he's the best running back. I mean, he's efficient. He gets yards. You can always count on him, but it's just he has a big game and then he's just kind of then we shall see. Kenny Pickett, I like to have a even better year than last year. Hopefully he doesn't have the sophomore slump because I really like Kenny Pickett. I want him to prove everybody wrong because who cares about his tiny hands? Any quarterback can make it as long as you work hard at the game. Hands don't affect you as much. As long as you can hold on to the ball, you'll be fine. But I like the Steelers. Probably in third place, but if everything shakes right, because that defense is really good, and if that offensive line can improve, they should be better, and they should have a chance to eke out a wild card spot perchance. Now we have the Bengals. It all depends on Deshaun Watson, if he can improve on what he did last year, which wasn't much. But he hadn't played in like a year and a half. What do you expect? And hopefully with a full offseason, he'll come back. Yes, I mean, whatever you want to say about Deshaun Watson, he was never convicted in a court of law. Can we just stop saying he's just a terrible person right off the bat? Because he's never charged. But that aside, it's going to be really dependent on him to come back and do well. Because, boy, if he doesn't do well, that that trade's going to end up with the Great Train Robbery as one of the worst trades for any team in NFL history because they gave up so much and they paid him so much, and it's like all guaranteed money. My God, but yeah, I mean Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the league, good offensive line. Amari Cooper, I like the Browns. The defense, who knows? Hopefully, it's got to be better than what they had last year. My God, it was embarrassment. But I don't think the Browns have a chance to win the division. I think maybe if things shake out right and some of the other teams suffer injuries, they might have a small chance, but nothing more than a wild card or playoffs at all. But next we have the AFC South, where we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars on top of the division. Who would have thought? Great team. They had that great playoff game comeback, which, depending on who you ask, was may have been contrived by the NFL, but they're a great upcoming team. It's amazing how much effect a coach has on a quarterback. And wow, Doug Marrone might not be the best. Not Doug Marrone. Doug Peterson might not be the best quarterback or best coach in the league, but he just knew how to work with just Trevor Lawrence. My God. But yeah, Jaguars should be great. Should be really good at least. Calvin Ridley, hopefully he can show what he did in Atlanta. He hasn't played football for a couple of years, so we'll see what he has. I think he'll be just fine. We'll see if the reason why he did good in Atlanta was because of Julio Jones taking off a lot of pressure, or if he really is the legit number one wide receiver everybody believes he can be. Stout defense that's going to get better and better. And I just think that division is just not great, really. But yeah, Jaguars at the top. Next we have the Tennessee Titans. Again, D-Hop should be great for them. Ryan Tannehill, let's see what he still has left in the tank. Derrick Henry, does he have one more really great year to put him over the top and into the Hall of Fame rankings? I mean, honestly, he should already be up for the Hall of Fame when he retires, but if he gets it another next great year, should really help. I think this team has a chance to make the playoffs. Of course, their defense should be less banged up this year, so that'll help a lot because they were terrible down the stretch. I mean, that 7-game losing streak at the end of the year is no joke. It's literally one of the worst ways to end the season ever. And that offense should be legit. Hopefully, D-Hop can help their other wide receivers get better, take some of this pressure off everybody else. Okonkwo, or however you say it, is a great tight end. For fantasy, he's definitely a sleeper tight end to get in middle to upper rounds for sure. But yeah, I think the Titans have a legit chance to win the division if everything shakes right, because as much as I like the Jaguars, we'll have to see if they can live up to what they did last year and continue to rise. Next, we have the Houston Texans. Houston Texans not in last place, but I mean, they showed signs last year. I mean, even though they lost a lot of games, they showed signs. That offensive line should get better. I mean, Laramie Tunsil is no joke. The guy they got last year in the first round is no joke. And running back is great. I mean, he showed real good signs. And with CJ Stroud, sure, he's probably going to be a project a little bit. He's probably not going to be ready to go right away, but he will learn on the job. And they finally have a good coach that's worth a darn, because it was just bad last year. There's just a lame duck of a team. Hopefully they'll get better. I don't think there's any playoffs in their future, but we'll see what happens. I think at best they could probably finish at 500, which would be really good and really help them come next year. But I think all signs are pointing up for the Houston Texans. It's good to see. Hopefully they continue to improve. And we have the Colts in last place. Now the Colts are going to be a mystery this year. Probably not going to be very good. Hopefully Jonathan Taylor can regain what he had a couple years ago. Now it's going to be dependent on the offensive line not sucking And now that they have or supposedly have a good quarterback in Richardson that can, or be a good quarterback and isn't a immovable stone wall, uh, we'll see if it improves. I mean, Richardson is massively talented, but he is raw. We'll see if he can translate to the next level because if you saw him in Florida, at Florida, you never would have thought, does this guy look like he has Hall of Fame potential? No, but everybody loves him, so maybe he deserved the right to be drafted up high, but we shall see. Um, yeah, Colts probably going to finish in last. Maybe they can pass the Texans, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be another top 5 pick for the Colts next year. But maybe at least if Richardson can play decently, they can show that they have or show good signs going forward. And last and not least, we have the AFC West with the Chiefs, of course, at the top. Of course, the Chiefs are going to win the division again. Mahomes, Kelsey, Pacheco as a running back, just showing that running backs don't need to be gotten very high. You can find them anywhere for cheap and do well. I mean, the Chiefs didn't even really need running. When they did, he did well, and that's all you really need running back for now. Apparently, all you need to do if you're Patrick Mahomes is just throw, and nobody's gonna touch you. Because if they did, they just get a penalty, and yeah, I'm not gonna take it away. He's probably the best quarterback in the league. But let's be honest, when Brady was in the league, he got a bunch of calls that are BS only because he's not Brady. And Mahomes is slowly becoming that guy where you just can't touch him or there's going to be a penalty. And yeah, but yeah, Chiefs are clearly the best. Defense stout. Offense is just amazing. Enough said. And next we have the Chargers. Now with Herbert inked to that new deal, at least the Chargers have something good to look forward to for the next couple years, but hopefully they can finally get over the hump and actually win a playoff game after the debacle that was last year's playoffs. They can only go up at this point. I mean, it's just embarrassing what happened last year. And you can say that the NFL contrived it, but I think they truly just collapsed. Sure, don't want to take anything away from the Jags, but they collapsed. But hopefully Eckler, this is not the last year of Eckler. That would be a massive loss for their offense for next year. This is probably their going all in year for the Chargers. I mean, this is probably the best team they've had for a while. Hopefully they can stay reasonably healthy, especially Joey Bosa. With him in the defense, their defense is so much better when he's on the field, and when he's not, their pass rush just kind of falls apart. Hopefully it'll get better. Hopefully you can stay healthy for the full year. And hopefully they can finally make the playoffs and win a game. I mean, they made the playoffs, but they need to win a game for a change. And next we have the Denver Broncos. No, I don't think they're going to finish in last, but hopefully Russell Wilson can let the let's ride era behind and just focus on football. Just focus on football. Focus on being a quarterback, not having your own office away from the rest of the teammate. That's very alienating, and I think it really showed. I think a lot of people ended up not liking Russell Wilson just because of his prima donna tendencies at times. Just get in with the guys, be a better quarterback, improve. I mean, Sean Payton's there as coach. Who knows what you're going to get there? I mean, he's still a great coach, but it just feels like they gave up a lot just to get Sean Payton from the Saints. They gave up a first round for Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton's a good coach, but it seems like something I wouldn't do for sure. But, I mean, they can only go up. Hopefully, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton can stay healthy this year because they are two good wide receivers, but they need to stay healthy. And Javonte Williams, he's probably going to be good to go. I mean, maybe not right away, but he should be back. He's young enough. The ACL shouldn't have affected him too much, but he's a great young running back. Hopefully, last year was not the beginning of the end, and the injury is not worse than we thought it would be. Hopefully, he can come back. And next we have the last but not least for the Raiders, but actually maybe the least, because the Raiders are going to be terrible. Of course, Devontae is there still. And who knows what they have with Jimmy Garoppolo. because you never know what you're going to get with Jimmy Garoppolo, if he's going to be good or if he's going to suck. Because he has those good moments, but who knows what he's going to do with the Raiders. Yeah, Devontae's there, but we'll see what happens. No more Darren Waller, and that defense is still a mess. I mean, sure they have two great edge rushers, but let's see if they can do more with that in the secondary, which has been bad for a very long time, and it's prevented them from making any dent into a higher ranking. And yeah, the Raiders are just a mess. Josh McDaniels is a terrible coach. And hopefully after this year, the Raiders will just learn to get good people that deserve head coaching jobs and not talentless hacks that have long outlived their usefulness. And next we go to the NFC with the NFC North. Now, of course, I'll put the Lions here. They have all the potential in the world. Last year, the winning they did at the end of the year was no joke. They beat my Packers. That was awful. It's one of the worst ways to end another great quarterback career in Green Bay, but it is what it is. We'll move on, but it's up to the Lions to be able to live up to their promise all year. Can they complete a full season without having a dreaded losing streak that they always seem to have for the last ever? I mean, every time you think they're going to be good, they have this weird losing streak that comes out of nowhere, and it's like, we're better than this. But are they? We'll find out. If a great team, Montgomery as a backup, Gibbs should be good as a number one running back. We'll see. I still think he was drafted high, but I mean, that's what the Lions do. They make weird draft selections. But their offense is no joke. We'll see if they can live up the promise. Defense should be good. We'll see what happens to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I mean, that's an unfortunate way to... It happens every year where non-contact injuries happen in the first couple practices of the year. But we'll see what happens. Should win the division, but let's see if they can live up to the hype and do a full season. And I'm going to get skewered for this, but I'm putting the Packers in second. They're not a bad team. Sure, Jordan Love has not played a lot, but he showed promise. In the few plays he got last year, he's shown promise. He can hold up. Of course, Watson will get better. Dobbs will get better. Jalen Reed, I'm really excited for. Two good-looking tight ends that can block and stretch the field. That should be really helpful. And it is Jordan Love, so he won't have the richness to look wide receiver off because, they made a drop pass. He'll be forced to throw to everyone. And he'll get lots of reps in preseason. He'll play a lot. He'll be fine. He'll be ready for the season. I think he can do something comparable to what Rodgers did in his first season. Sure, the interceptions might be up, but he'll get better. The defense is good. Rashawn Gary, maybe he comes back sooner than what everybody's saying, and that would be a big boost. Lucas Van Ness will be a good edge rusher. He just might need some seasoning, but those physical attributes cannot be taught, and he has them. And next we have the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings are the Vikings, and yet they still don't. Well, they made the playoffs, but they didn't win. They lost. New wide receiver should be a good compliment to Justin Jefferson, of course. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. He does what he needs to do to get a win every now and then. He does make his mistakes. The defense is going to be a lot different. Lost a lot of guys over the offseason, but should still be good. Their defense can't be any worse than they were at the end of the season. Ed Tannehill is the old dinosaur that never should have been a defensive coordinator for the Vikings in 2022. So hopefully that'll be improved. Vikings are still going to be a good team. I just think the Packers have a better future, and that's why I put them at second. But if the Vikings end up in second, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if the Packers ended up in any of these positions. But right now I'm putting them in second, and the Vikings defense should be fine. I mean, it can't be much worse than it was last year at the end of the year, but we'll see what happens. Then we have the Bears. Justin Fields, it all depends on if he can live up to his potential. Can he actually learn to throw better? Because he's not the most accurate quarterback in the world. He has all the talent in the world. He can run, run. And he's not going to do a lot of that this year. But we shall see if he can, if he doesn't. Hopefully, he doesn't suffer some terrible injury. But the Bears got some new guys on defense that should help a lot. But it's still the Bears. The Bears are the Bears. And until they can show they can win more than just a couple games, I'm not going to put them higher than fourth. They need to show that they can be there throughout the season. And this will be a great testing point. DJ Moore should help a lot. It's just dependent on if Fields can get him the ball on a consistent basis. Because they've had Darnell Mooney, and he's supposedly a good wide receiver. Just can't seem to get him the ball. TJ Edwards should be a big boost on defense. Edmonds should be good as well. I mean, they have pieces, but can they put it all together and be more than just the Bears of the past? And next we have the NFC East. No, I'm doing this out of order, but we'll start with the Eagles. Eagles are just the best team. I mean, their defense got better. They got two guys from Georgia, for Jalen Carter at the 9th overall pick when he was supposedly the number 1 overall pick all year until his speeding incidents, which shows really bad character on his part, but he should be in a good winning environment, should help him a lot. Probably won't start right away, but I mean, he's going to be good. He's not going to have all the defense on him. The defensive line is just so talented. I mean, 4 guys had 10 sacks. That's like unheard of. Even in today, it's just incredible. The offense is no joke. Jalen Hurts, new contract, should be great. Of course, A.J. Brown, good too. Running back situation. I mean, the trade they make is ridiculous. I mean, they're just shuffling around quarterbacks or running backs. It sucks that Miles Sanders left, but hey, with the way running backs are today, get somebody on the cheap like Rashad Penny, who when healthy is a very talented running back. He just can't stay healthy, but we shall see. First, for sure. And then I'll put the Cowboys in second. We'll see. This is a big prove it year for Dak Prescott. Can he be good for the whole year? Can he stay away from the potential big mistakes? Tony Pollard, unfortunately, of course, like I said, with the way the running back market's going, Tony Pollard's just not going to get a lot of money, especially after the injury he had. Hopefully he can return and be like he was last year, because that would be great for fantasy purposes, but he's a great running back. No Ezekiel Elliott, but I still find it funny that there's a potential that Jerry Jones brings Zeke back at some point this year if he's not already on a team. Michael Gallup hopefully can get better. Brandon Cook should be a good, viable second option to CeeDee Lamb, which is something they haven't had for a while, so that's good to say. Their defense should be fine. I mean, Diggs got his contract, got his money. He's still a great corner, but he's still one of those receivers, whether you agree how he plays or not, is boom or bust. You either get an interception or you give up a touchdown. It's just the way he plays. So, I mean, you make fun of him for that because he gives up a lot of yards, but that's just the style he plays. So, and yeah, the Cowboys defense should be fine, and it should be a battle for the first or for the top spot. To be honest, I think this division overall will be pretty good. And next we have the Giants. Yeah, again, another terrible running back situation. Saquon Barkley, he got a year extension, but let's be honest, it's still a lowballing for a guy that literally was your whole offense. Should be just like they were last year. Should get better. Brian Daboll is a great coach. He's a perfect coach to be for the Giants when they hired him, for sure. He definitely got out of Daniel Jones what nobody else could. Hopefully Daniel Jones will continue to cut down on the fumbles, and he will build on what he did last year. But Darren Waller shouldn't be helpful as long as he doesn't get injured again, like he always seems to do. But we'll see what happens. I think 2 and 3 are interchangeable. They could either go either way. Giants could win out if things go right, but um, I think they missed the playoffs by a game. But this should be good, and hopefully Saquon can come back for them, because Giants without Saquon Barkley would be a vastly different situation. And then we have yes, it's the Redskins logo, but to be honest, the Kami logo has always been terrible, and I think they change the name again and get a new logo. Finally, Daniel Snyder's gone. We'll see what they can get from Sam Howell. Um, Robinson should be good without being, as long as he doesn't get shot again this year, and with a full training camp, he should be good. Their defense is great. A great defense line. Deron Payne is a great D tackle. Hopefully Chase Young can come back and live up to his promise, because he's a great talent. But yeah, I don't see him getting much above third. I mean, this defense is going to be good. All these teams are going to beat up on each other like they always do. But I think it's clearly Eagles at the top. And then maybe some interchanging between the 2 through 3 spots in the division, but Eagles at the top. And next we have the NFC South, probably one of the worst divisions in football. I'm going to put the Saints at the top. Yeah, call me a homer, but Derek Carr should be good. I know people don't like Derek Carr, but he's a good quarterback. We'll see how long Alvin Kamara is suspended, if he gets suspended at all. Let's see what he can do with Michael Thomas and Chris Olave. It should be a dynamic duo. Hopefully all of the talk of Michael Thomas being back isn't all bluster, which I think it could be. But we shall see. Next we have the Atlanta Falcons at second. They have all the promise in the world, supposedly. Let's see what Desmond Ridder can do with a full training camp under his belt. Of course, the running back should be great. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but I hope it's not all bluster. I hope he really is great. I just don't think he's worthy of a top 10 or top 10 fantasy pick. Come on. I mean, he's going to be good, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. The offense should be great. Should get better, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully it can get better. Hopefully their defense improves. They did make some good additions on the defense, but we'll see. I'm, as a Saints fan, I don't really like the Falcons, and I hope they lose every game, but being objectionable, they should be battling at the top spot with the Saints, of course. Next, we have the Panthers. Bryce Young coming in right away. He should be good. Offense should be fine. Defense should be hopefully better than last year. Had a real great rushing attack last year with adding Miles Sanders to the fold. Hopefully he continue to do what he has been over the last year. But I think it's a good spot for them. Maybe a chance to move up to second, but we shall see. It all depends on how good Bryce Young is this year. Next we have the Buccaneers. I don't think they're going to be very good. I mean, still a piece on defense, still those 2 great wide receivers, but we'll see if Baker Mayfield has anything left. Maybe Baker surprises everybody, but I feel like this is Baker's last stop or last chance to really do something and regain his career. Otherwise, he's probably liable to be called one of the biggest busts ever. Well, not one of the biggest busts, but a big bust in NFL history. And next we have the 49ers at the top. What can be said? Defense is amazing. Their offense is great. It's all dependent on Brock Purdy. Hopefully, for their sake, last year wasn't a fluke, and Brock Purdy can build on what he did last year. McCaffrey, great as always. Offensive line, so many weapons. Hopefully, Deebo Samuel can do better than what he did last year. It was kind of a down year for him, but he's supposedly in shape, looks good, but I have no worries about them finishing anything other than first. Next, we have the Seahawks. We'll see if Geno Smith can, now that he got some money, hopefully he can build on what he did last year, but I don't know. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I don't think there's a lot there, of course. He has great weapons all the way across the board, and with Jackson Smith and Jigma being added. That should help a lot. Kenny Walker is great. The defense should get better. Tariq Woolen is a great player. Defense in general should be better. I just hate Seahawks so much, and I would like. But being objective, they're going to be a good team. I just don't think they're going to be able to rival the 49ers, because the 49ers are one of the best teams in the league, top to bottom. It's hard to argue anything else than that. Rams, boy, they're a mess. We'll see. Aaron Donald will be back. They were just so injured last year, and it's hard to believe how far they fell after winning the Super Bowl, how much they fell, but we'll see what they can do. I like this old Logan than what they have now, to be honest, but Matthew Stafford, hopefully he still has something left in the tank, and hopefully they can be anywhat better than last year. There's nowhere to go but up. And last, but surely least, we have the the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, who knows if he even plays this year, probably won't. And it's just going to be a race for Caleb Williams, I'm sure. They have pieces in and around there, but new coach, just new everything. It seems like this team is without a rudder, and then we'll just see what we get. We're probably going to get beat around a lot. Probably going to be at the bottom of the league. Probably going to be at the top of the draft next year. When Caleb Williams hears his name called, it'll probably be for the Arizona Cardinals, and who knows what'll happen. But hope you enjoy the video. If you disagree with anything, make sure to comment below. These are just my opinions. I'd love to talk about it in the comments below. You can call me an idiot or whatever for putting the Packers there, but these are what I believe, and who knows? Like I said in the beginning, in about 3 months or so, they could be total bunk and could be different. They're all predictions, but as always, have a great day, and God bless.